Ready? All right. Call the meeting of the Merrillville Redevelopment Commission to order for Tuesday, November 22nd at 6 o'clock p.m. Mr. Secretary, roll call, please.
Yes, sir. Mr. White? Here. Mr. Hardaway? Here. Ms. Uselak? I am here. Mr. Pettit?
Here.
We have 4 and a quorum.
All right. Next item on the agenda, gentlemen, is consent agenda, the accounts payable register voucher approval for November 22nd, 2022, approval of the meeting minutes from October 25th, 2022.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Mr. Hardaway, seconded by Mr. White to approve the consent agenda as presented. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Under old business, the holiday property second draw and Ameriplex bond. Pat and Angie. Or I could start it, Pat. It doesn't matter. I mean,
that's fine. Go ahead. Angie's got the paperwork from today.
All right. This probably more pertains to for Leonard's benefit edification than Rich and Jeff. You guys might remember a while back, Ameriplex Holiday Properties came to us and wanted a $4.1 million, $4 million infrastructure bond that would be developer backed. And they knew that they were going to be last in the pecking order. When we get that draw every year, we have the big, large bond issue that's still outstanding. I don't know what the balance is, Pat, off the top of my head. It's got to be in the $6 to $7 million range. That's the one where we refinanced and got a better interest rate that they initially took out to put the infrastructure in at Ameriplex. Well, now they wanted to finish off some roads in there, which included Massachusetts in 96, so we did a $4 million bond issue. They drew down $1 million to put in Massachusetts in 96. Now they're asking for a $1.5 million. There are some other incidental infrastructure. They've been rewiring all the street lights in Ameriplex. What else do we have, Pat, off the top?
Well, I'll let Angie get into it, but I know that we've talked about new landscape and signage.
Yeah.
Are also a big part of it. And as I said, Angie has a comprehensive list. Angie?
Yeah, they provided a detailed list. So we actually shared it with our financial consultant. He's going through scrubbing it, going to question anything that we may want to know further information about and get back to us on it. He was doing that tomorrow, so.
Okay, this is again more for information. The bond has already been issued. They just draw down, they've been drawing down as they need it. They did indicate, Doug Hunt did indicate to us today during a meeting that this probably be their last draw. So there would be about $1.5 million available in that bond issue. Either we return it, and Bob is looking into that as well, an early payoff, or could it be, even though it's in the town's name, it was given to Holiday Properties, they bought it. Would we, as the town, be able to use it for infrastructure? Because I've said all along, and I've got Steve King working on it, at some point next year, when all the big boxes are done, we're gonna have to repave that park. Georgia is all cracked everywhere. There are gaps in over by Joe's office, by Amazon, at the incubator, going into Ivy Tech. That road, that roundabout's all gonna have to be repaved. So once we get the cost estimate from Steve, then we can look at how are we gonna finance this thing. So I think what they wanna do, Pat, is they want, I'm gonna call a special RDC meeting for 6/15 on the 13th, and we will handle, once we get the okay from Bob Swentz, we'll handle the approval of the last draw, and then they can do the paperwork with Pat and Angie.
Right.
Joe, I don't know if there's anything else. I know you've been in some of those email chains with Bob Swentz and Doug Hunt, or Pat or Angie. Did I miss anything?
Yeah, I think you covered it.
Everything's covered? Patrick?
Yeah, no, it is, and the expectation is that we'll have appropriate paperwork working with our attorney here, Mr. Svetnoff, and have it to the commission for consideration at that meeting.
Okay. All right, the next item that Pat has got
Yep.
is the bid opening for equipment, Chicago Aerospace. You gentlemen will recall, Chicago Aerospace is the development that's going in the old field house building, the building that we had purchased, and we're trying to flip to the Korean pharmaceutical company. Albany's had it for a period of time, Pat, I don't know, maybe a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And then they turned around and they sold it to Chicago Aerospace, which, we've had the pleasure of meeting with Bob before. Angie and Sheila and I were out in the building with him describing what they're gonna do. They manufacture parts for NASA and the aircraft and aerospace industry. It's basically it's a foundry, right, Pat?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that they'll, and I think there's inklings that they may be, once they're up and running and they're successful in years down the road, they'll buy more land from Ameriplex and add on to this building. So, Pat, how do we want to handle this?
Well, we have, it's made a little easy because we have one bid,
We have one bid?
just one bid,
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
And,
Make things a lot easier.
Yeah,
yeah, and it was noted, it was received by our office on November 8th. Not
okay.
opened?
Let's open it.
Okay.
Open it up.
Open it up, read the bond, and it's gonna be taken under advisement until administrative staff, whoever that would be, does an inspection to make sure all the paperwork's in. The actual submittal. I guess that's me.
This is from the Palmer Manufacturing and Supply, Inc. From, they are located in Springfield, Ohio, sir.
Okay, what do we got, Pat?
We're getting to that now. Thank you. Bear with me here. Per our RFP, the sand casting automatic carousel, their total amount is $139,900. Second item per the RFP, rollover draw machine, $326,804. $804,000.
804?
Yeah, 326,804.
So the bid was to purchase two pieces of equipment.
That is correct.
Okay,
And I would remind the commission that our commitment here is not to exceed, I believe it's $375,000. And the company, certainly aware of that, has agreed to pay the difference.
and the 375 is coming where, Pat?
It's coming out of the TIF, I would
Broadway
imagine.
TIF.
Yeah, probably Broadway. And yes, we've investigated, are the dollars there? And they are there, and it won't undermine any project currently or future commitment.
All right. Okay. Any questions for Pat?
I do have one question.
Motion to take it under advisement with the attorney and town staff.
Well, you can actually do a motion to accept the bid contingent upon staff and the attorney reviewing the documents to make sure everything's required as in the RF.
Thank you, that's my motion.
I think Councilman White had a question, though.
Why don't we get a second and we'll have discussion, Leonard, if that's okay. Leonard? Motion by Mr. Hardaway, seconded by Mr. White, to approve Palmer Manufacturing and Supply from Springfield, Ohio, for two pieces of equipment, one in the amount of $139,900, the other in the amount of $326,804. Open for discussion, Mr. White.
Yeah, I was just wondering in the sense of, when they say equipment, what type of equipment? Or is that necessary for us to even talk about?
Well,
That's what they need. I mean, one's a sand casting machine.
Okay.
Pat, and what was the other one?
Well, the other
Rollover?
one is a rollover draw machine. To give you, to answer your question, minimum 8 stations, gravity conveyors. Conveyors spaced to allow roller capacity minimum, roller bearing type, frame structure, height, friction drive, automatic roller push-off, disconnect, automatic lockout required, power source, 480-volt, three-phase, automated control panel, and then underneath the roller drawer, interlock to the index of multiple loop to suit bolster size, pattern maximum dimensions, pattern maximum weight, style through frame, loop index, cured molds, pattern bolstered is clamped at the top, carriage loops to close. And it goes on to describe almost verbatim per the specifications or needs of Chicago Aerospace.
Satisfaction.
Yep, thank you.
Okay.
This will be, so both bids, gentlemen, combined are $466,704, both pieces of equipment. And as Pat said, we had committed to $375,000 out of the Broadway TIF, not to mention employment jobs.
Right.
And that. So, with that being said, any further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Secretary, roll call vote, please.
Mr. White,
Yes?
Mr. Hardaway.
Yeah.
Mr. Black is absent. I am a yes. Mr. Pettit.
Yes,
4 yeses.
motion carries 4-0.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Staff will get with Joe, and we'll also get with Mr. Pittman.
Okay. Anything else under old business, Pat or Angie?
Not that I'm
No.
aware. No.
Okay, under new business, there's a letter from the town manager, Patrick Reardon, recommending approval of payment to various vendors for work completed at the Dean and Barbara White Community Center.
Yes, sir.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Minchuk, seconded by Mr. Hardaway to approve the letter, just for the sake of clarity in the minutes, gentlemen. I'm going to go ahead and read this memo. It's to me, Ward 6 Councilman and President of the Redevelopment Commission, from Patrick J. Reardon, Town Manager, Town Administration, and a copy to the council and the commission dated November 17th, recommendation to approve payments. Dear Redevelopment Commission President Pettit and Redevelopment Commission, Parks and Recreation Department Director Torrance Price and I have reviewed the attached billing for work completed at the Dean and Barbara White Community Center. The work was completed satisfactorily, and we recommend the payment in the total amount of $65,356.49. The vendor name is Sounds Cool Live Audio LLC. Invoice amount is $7,606.49. Golf Incorporated, $57,750. Again, for the total mentioned, $65,356.49. Motion by Mr. Minchuk, second by Mr. Hardaway. Is there any discussion on the motion?
Yeah, this sound equipment, what kind of warranty do we get this time?
There is a warranty, and I can't remember what it is, to be honest with you. I'll report back to you. I look.
Thank you. You know, we've been burnt too many times.
Yeah, I made sure there was one. I just can't remember exactly what it was.
All right, and then the, Golf and Sons, they did the, fencing and stuff.
In the bleachers, right?
No, they did not do the bleachers.
They
They
just
did
did-
the fence work, and they did the concrete pathway that leads the.
South side of the building.
Correct. To
Yeah.
the football field, yes.
Yep, from the football field.
Access now.
From-
Yep,
Yeah, yes.
yep. Okay, let's go ahead and have a roll call vote, Mr. Secretary, since the dollar amount's high.
Mr. White,
Yes?
Mr. Hardaway,
Yep.
Ms. Uselak is absent. I am a yes. Mr. Pettit?
Yes,
4 yeses.
motion carries 4-0.
Thank you.
Any general orders, Pat?
No, sir.
Last item, gentlemen.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? I want to make sure we vote, right? Well, you better vote on
You
an
have to-
adjournment,
You have to adjourn the meeting.
because I'm not adjourning, we'll be here all night. They're sticking around.